Oi, welcome back, kid. Hey, so tiny. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him. Don't you think?
I have no doubts in regards to this witness's testimony.
It was impossible for him to lift the bust and stick himself out far enough to look, not to mention that he could not have known the location of the Ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries.
That's what I was thinking. What is your opinion on this matter, Mr. Wright?
I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination.
He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really.
Says the girl who just called this stupid testimony to stall for time. Grr. I can't let her get to me. Gotta focus.
Flash. Oh. I suppose I could have lifted something the size of that bust.
Have you ever lifted up the bust before?
No, I've never actually lifted it up with my own two hands. But I should get to it, don't you think? I can't let money outdo me on this.
Money? That crazy monkey has lifted Max's bust before? You're so intrigued, his voice changed.
Please continue with your testimony, Mr. Dingling.
I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured.
So what have you been doing to keep in shape?
Well, honestly, I've given up on training. I don't have any plans to return to the trapeze, or the tightrope.
You don't say.
But, no offense, I'm not worried about losing to you in a race or anything. Neither am I, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
For a second there, I thought she was gonna whip acro. I was gonna be like, whoa!
I wouldn't lose either, slowpoke. I mean, Nick.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! How did the discussion turn to me all of a sudden?
I suppose you could say that I'm stronger than the average bear. However, lifting the bust and looking out the window would have been impossible.
Did he just call himself a hairy gay man?
Yes.
I'm stronger than the average, hairy gay dude.
Yeah.
Big hairy gay dude.
Yes.
And why is that?
Because if I were to do that, I'd end up falling out the window myself. I still haven't gotten much feeling back in my legs yet.
What if we attached you to a rope and we threw you out while you were holding the bust?
Then who was holding the rope?
Money!
Oh, okay.
So you couldn't have thrown that bust out the window?
There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body.
How long do you think your recovery will take?
You have to remember that my nerves were severely damaged. I'm currently undergoing some extremely intensive rehabilitation. But it's still going to take a while before I'm back to 100%.
They make me stand up and go,
rehabilitation!
1, 2, 1, 2.
Let me remind you of another very important point. If the witness was carrying the bust, he would not be able to see out below the window. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the Ringmaster's head.
Why do you say it would be impossible?
Allow me to explain. You accept that if I was carrying the bust, I couldn't see out below the window. Thus, there was no way I would have known the location of the Ringmaster's head.
Well, I suppose you've got a point.
Hey, Nick!
Huh?
What if you turn things around? Maybe if you think of it sort of like this. If he knew the location of the Ringmaster's head, then he could drop the bust.
He knew ahead of time where they were going to stand. Because it was planned.
How did he plan it?
With the note. So then they got the box down there. It was the box The trunk. The trunk.
There you go.
What am I gonna say?
You gotta say the trunk. The junk in the trunk.
The pepper that was in the trunk, the trunk was in snow,
There you go.
which was under the body of the ringmaster. That does make sense.
In the bottom of the sea.
If only I could prove somehow that Acro knew the location of the ringmaster's head without looking down. He stood next to his window and he threw an apple out and he's like, "Where did it land? Mark it."
Well, you'll see, but you're basically right. I
He
think
threw shiny stuff and wherever money stood, he's like, "All right,
yeah.
perfect."
I think I've already explained things sufficiently. Yes, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think?
I'd be able to bust on him. I mean, drop the bust on him. Oh, shit. If all you had to do was drop it, then it wouldn't have been a problem at all.
If all I had to do was drop it, you're right, I could have done that. But however, there was no way that I could land a direct hit on the remaster's head.
So that kind of makes your theory a bit pointless, doesn't it, Mr. Wright? Loser!
Acro is strong enough to lift up the bust.
The main problem is how he could have aimed for the remaster's head.
I wonder if he used some kind of tool to aim for the ringmaster.
That's the ticket, Nick! Show him what you got!
All right.
No!
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm pretty proud of it.
No! I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No.
I have to be careful. I have to find something that fits perfectly with the case. The case.
I don't remember us finding any sort of tools, but maybe we overlooked something.
The case.
The case.
He just sprinkled some pepper out the window
The
and where the
case.
flakes landed.
Yeah, like he... Achoo! I found him!
Whoever sneezed, I'm gonna kill you.
There's the box.
Echo. You didn't really need to lean out the window, did you?
What are you driving at, Mr. Wright?
You already knew ahead of time what the ringmaster's head was gonna be. Yawn! Boring. Quite precisely, I may add.
Your silly hinting of things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright!
Stop sweating.
Enough stalling! How about you show us some evidence?
But I did such a good job hinting.
Yes! Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. I'm getting bored up here. I finished my last crossword puzzle. I couldn't find seek. I don't know where it is.
To look for? What does it mean?
Maybe you should take a look at this. Oh,
That's looking box.
The key point here is the wooden box.
The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over. They made eggs on his back. Poor man.
Yeah.
The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here?
Who?
When Finn and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box, which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime.
I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. Until Francesca says something, then I'm gonna ignore what
My
you
name
have
is
to say.
Franziska. It's with a Z.
Francesca.
I'm not Francesca. That's a Spanish name.
Francis.
That's a That's a French name. Oh no, it's Francois. Francis is the Pope.
Close enough.
The moment that the bust came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answer to all these questions is now crystal clear.
You mean...
If the bust were to fall upon the point marked out by the wooden box,
There would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim.
No!
How is she sweating and she's cold?
I'm holding my body tight, making me warm.
Order, order, order! This is unbelievable!
Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. And there's only one way to go from here. Out the door.
I got a lunch.
Recess, right?
Yes.
Forward.
Call it!
So the next question I have is, who placed that wooden box at that scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope. Then all I had to do was lower it down. Ow!
Allow me to rip some sense into you, Mr. Phoenix Knight!
Ow! Ow! Ow!
The Venus's head could have been anywhere where he lifted the box!
That's why the box was so specially made.
Specially made?
Indeed.
Indeed!
It had the most peculiar feature.
What you were saying earlier, he had to bend down. Why did he have to bend down to pick up the box?
The size of the box.
Yeah, there you go.
The contents, the pepper.
The pepper. It was heavy.
The box was a remarkable size.
Size?
Like this.
Huh? Why are you showing me your badge?
I just pulled my pants down. You don't have to be so harsh. Exactly! I think you can tell from the picture that the wooden box was very large. To lift it up, one would have been required to squat.
Meaning that one would have had to have taken it up in both arms, right?
Yes.
Nowhere else. They didn't take it anywhere else.
Nope. But what you could insinuate.
The box is quite heavy. It weighs in the neighborhood of 20 pounds.
The box also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it?
That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place.
Fool!
You talking to yourself? He just swats one of the birds.
Just eats it.
You challenge me. Does he even bother to listen to me anymore?
I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills.
Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza?
Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done what he's proposing.
What?
Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bust?
Yeah, it's the kitchen. Cafeteria.
I remember.
Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria.
Then what happened to it?
I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. Ah! That means...
So, do you want me to tear this apart now, or should I wait for all of this to be stated?
You have, like, give him, like, 2 lines, man.
Alright, say your second line.
You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bust from my room, but however, how would I have gotten the bust from the cafeteria to my room?
Right, now can I tear it apart?
Okay.
It's got shiny. Monkey like shiny. Monkey took shiny.
Shiny, Tamatoa, Moana.
Took shiny back to room. Bust was already in room.
Shiny room. You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Explain that. Don't forget, you said that there was no accomplice.
Arrgh.
Oog. Tell us exactly how the victims would have carried the bust from the cafeteria.
Easy. Yep, we definitely have a problem here.
Yeah, I'm so correct. I can't be stopped.
But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happen. Once and for all.
All right, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bust from the cafeteria back to its room? Money did it.
Leon!
Monkey.
Everyone knows money He loves shiny objects of any size.
Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist ring.
So, are you saying the victims had a monkey steal the bust?
Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own, and then he brought it back home.
Home?
Money lives in Aqua's room.
Aqua's room?
But the bust was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze and all that shiny!
Objection, it's got shiny cards in it, you stupid bitch. Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. You dumb blonde.
I'm not blonde. I'm blue. But it's kind of like a teal.
Dabba dee dabba die?
I would die. If that is green, I would die.
My, those are some very nice cards he's holding.
Wait, it's bronze. Why is it already green? How long did they leave that outside that it went green?
They left it. They might have forgotten about it for a bit.
Did anybody ever question why it's green after? I got it. Statue of Liberty used to be bronze. It's green now because of corrosion.
I don't know how long it took it for the corrode. 2 days?
You wake up and the next day the entire Statue of Liberty's just green. Huh.
Them goddamn teenagers pulled another prank.
They paint the Statue of Liberty? Yeah. I think New York came out. It's like, guys, nobody painted it. It's corroding as we speak.
We have sent a notice to the French.
It is breaking apart as we speak.
We are suing the French.
How dare you give us something that corrodes so easily? Yes, and they are made of platinum, which is very shiny. Not very expensive, but shiny. Acro! Money's a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bust back to your room.
If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate.
Takes another burn stance. Those are his lives that you take apart.
This is exotic.
Tastes like chicken.
Yes. From Bolivia.
Coughs, just feathers shoot out.
Order! Order! I said order! Miss Von Karma! Where is the busted cushion at this moment?
I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak.
This is a rather strange turn of events. But let's say that the monkey had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then?
Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon.
Wait! Then you mean the bust was a murder weapon? Purely by accident?
It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Like the tuba.
But I knew. They would do a little bit cartoon dance, right? Like I said before. If I threw a tuba on them.
Couldn't have him making all them footprints in the snow.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer!
Moron!
Says the lady shaken.
Just because I like dancing doesn't mean I'm a moron.
Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Ow!
Don't seem so flamboozled. Especially if I be like this fraud of an attorney.
Fraud?
You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Knight.
And what is that?
You should know! You'd forgot that your fraud of a magical crime was spotted at the scene of the crime! There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony.
That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright?
Don't let him break you now!
I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around.
When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, the strawberry, and the other was the murderer himself! So yes,
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. Yes, it isn't only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who was the murderer the clown saw?
It was the bust. I've solved your case. He saw the bus.
Ah! I asked you the other person Mo saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question.
Au contraire, mon frère. That's right, I know a little French.
I know. Oui.
Why are you talking about your penis?
Oh. I was speaking French. And I speak it with my penis.
As many French people do, actually.
Yes.
It does indeed. Have you smelled it?
Not that, well, I was like a couple feet away, but...
I was a couple feet from Paris.
Yes.
I was almost in it.
I was almost there.
It does indeed have something to do with this question. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. Oh, that's what's happening. My head is slowly gone completely off. I was wondering why my head was feeling weird. Just leave that.
My brains don't feel good.
How is that possible?
It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust.
Objection.
All over.
What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak.
There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. It would be easy to hang one off the cards in the bust's hand.
Idiot! Who in the right mind would put the cloak on the bust?
It doesn't matter who put it on the bust.
Just wait a minute! Mr. Right! Who put the cloak on the bust? The question is the utmost importance to this case. Don't you agree?
Oh! He cut me.
So, let's have it, Mr. Right.
Who put the cloak on the bust?
I think it's just Acro.
No. It's not Acro. Who put the cloak on the bust? Who put the cloak on the bust? Who?
I'm sorry for doing anything to you.
Who put the cloak on the bust?
Okay, so it's not Acro.
Oh.
Can we take 10 feet back?
Who was on the scene? Who could have possibly put the cloak on the bust?
The ringmaster? It was Mo. Mo ran up and you're called!
Him!
Oh my god, am I right? Did the bust hit him and catch the cloak and rip the cloak off of him? This is gonna be amazing! Please let this be the case!
You're saying it was the victim himself, Russellberry?
That's what I'm saying.
The victim himself placed the cloak on the bust?
I mean, not on purpose. The cloak isn't really the right way of putting it.
Then what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Right?
Explain yourself! Nick, do you really have a handle on all of this?
I'm fine, Maya. Shut up! Sit in your corner and be quiet. Finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I can't paint anyways. I can paint. Ooh. Alright. So you want to know what really happened that night? Do you? Do you want to know? Let's step back in time. Echo used a rope to lower the wooden box under the seat. Then he attached that rope to the bust. Dangled the bust out of the bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than the ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. Ironically sounds close to ventriloquist. It's funny.
Yeah.
When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chance and released the rope.
Do!
Now this is when the magic happens, baby.
Oh.
At the very instant that the bust hit the victim.
Boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
A boom. Oh. My God. You just like the second there, Mr. Phoenix, right? As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be.
It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet.
What?
He's officially gone from being scared to her with toying with her at the end. The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bust. That impact also caused the sound of a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls. Curly Moe and Larry, the clown. When Moe looked out his window, the cloak had already been snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it. Primarily because in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out of his window. So he just kept pulling the bust up, and up, and up, and up. And that is how the magical murderer disappeared into the sky, came to be.
Pretty fucking insane you got it. Like, that's the one thing I didn't think you would ever get.
You didn't think I'd catch that?
I think
Not even that I would catch it, that I would guess that.
Yeah, beforehand. I think that you would have had trouble before it happened, you know?
My brain is something else when it comes to murder games! So you can see the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Acro, it could only have been you. Tell them.
Acro's been playing mind games with all of us.
He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now.
So,
what now?
you've graced us with a long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true?
Evidence?
In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip.
The scarf.
Mm-hmm.
He used it to clean the bust off of the blood.
No.
Aww.
No. We haven't even found the bust. We don't know where it is.
I was saying that's the blood that was on the scarf is gonna be...
No. That is bat's blood.
Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence?
Nick, they say they want evidence.
Just explained how there can only be one possible murder method. But there's still something unusual about Moe's eyewitness account.
What did he say? What did he get wrong, at least?
That it was Max?
Well, yeah, but why did he think it was Max?
Because of the silhouette?
Because of the silhouette and
The cloak?
the symbols. But what was the problem with that?
The roses were hidden.
He couldn't see the roses. Why couldn't he see the roses?
Because they were hooked on the cards.
There you go. Unusual.
A contradiction, actually.
Okay, then. Use that and get out of this jam.
That's enough talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case.
Yes. Right? Yes.
The problem is Max has 3 symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses?
Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings.
Yesterday there were 2 contradictions in most testimony.
The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other.
But the theory I just presented explains all these contradictions.
You fool! Do you ever shut up?
Max's silk hat was found at the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mo said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mo saw was actually the bust's.
Makes sense if you look at it that way. Then he did see the silk hat. Well, sort of.
Fine, you've got one, but what about the other contradiction?
The other contradiction?
Remember what that ventriloquist said in court? He said that the Eve witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like to see you try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick?
Of course, I can explain all of it.
What was that?
Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bust. If the cloak snagged onto the bust, what happened to the white roses? Shut up. Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bust, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bust.
Ah!
Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back. They were on the back side of the bust.
Whoa!
Acro, you murderer. Order! Order! I've always wanted to be a seal. This is quite the shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads us. I'm having fun.
Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Kummer will finally throw in the towel.
No. What is he, Gandalf? He's sending it to go get the eagles?
Well,
Bring me the eagles.
so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind?
What is it?
You took the time to research our circus, didn't you?
Well, yes, I did.
Is there something making you think that I didn't?
If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track.
Why is that?
Motive. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this.
Yeah. Why do you think he got so upset when he found out who died?
Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster.
Also, that just clicked in my brain. That's why I said that out loud. Because Mo said it. Well, he took it really rough when he found out who died.
Yeah.
Because that's not who he planned on being dead. And then he found out, oh fuck, I basically killed my dad.
We found a dead body this morning. It was Regina.
Regina?
Regina? No, it was the ringmaster.
No!
No.
Turns into Darth Vader. He actually stands up from the wheelchair.
Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Eckler's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? I'm still doubting that Eckler deeply respected the ringmaster.
What a bitch. She's trying to play the audience.
God.
Guys, use your sob story. Come on. The audience will love it. They'll buy it. Come on.
Come on.
Give him the tea. Give him the tea. Echo's motive.
It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well, however, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after recess. I'm tired and I want to go outside and play in the sandbox. Recess will be for the time. We'll conclude for the next.
I'm taking that as a line. I'm gonna go to the sandbox. Alright, we're gonna do the rest of this trial in
The next episode.
If you watch this episode of Face Justice for all, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, be notified to be open, which is.
Yep. Every day.
Bye-bye.
I say.